Do you want bigger arms, but you're tired of doing endless curls? The truth is, there's a much more effective way to get bigger arms, and it doesn't involve doing a million curls. I'll show you how to get real results and actually grow big arms without actually doing a million curls in this video. So first, I want to go over the anatomy of the arm. A lot of you guys, a lot of beginners, a lot of skinny natural lifters out there think that the way to get big arms is by doing like a million curls, like I mentioned in the title of this video. However, a lot of you guys might not realize this, but your tricep is actually a much bigger muscle group compared to the bicep. So if you think about that logically, it only makes more sense that if you want bigger arms, you should focus on your tricep, because the tricep, like I said, is more responsible for more of the girth of your arm compared to the bicep. Like if you literally look at it, your bicep is like, I don't know if you guys can see in frame, but your bicep is like here to here, and it's kind of tiny compared to your tricep, which literally starts at your elbow and extends all the way up to like your delts. So it's way bigger, and if you train your triceps, you'll get way more bang for your buck in terms of size and look. So training your triceps is actually way more beneficial. And that's actually the exact thing that I do, and it's the exact thing that I teach my clients as well too. Like, of course, we train them both, but I primarily focus on triceps over biceps. So, for example, I might do 2 like different exercises for triceps for every one exercise of biceps, like while I'm working out. This, for me, keeps it proportional without being too drastic of a difference, but it also helps me focus on my tricep growth over my bicep growth. Also, I always teach my clients to do tricep work first before doing their bicep work, because if we said, like we said, the tricep is more responsible for more girth of your arm, then it only makes more sense to focus on that when you're fresh, when you have more energy, and then save the biceps for later in your workout. Now, the only time this would change is that if your triceps have gotten so significantly big that they're overpowering your biceps, then it might make more sense to start focusing more on biceps, or start doing your biceps at the beginning of your workout compared towards like the end. If you're saving your biceps for the end, that's when you would start to switch it up. But for most of us, we could definitely use more tricep work compared to bicep work. Now, I'm going to talk about the best exercises as well for biceps and triceps. When you're doing triceps, you actually want to focus on the long head of your tricep, which is actually kind of like this outer end. The go-to like standard like tricep exercise for some reason is like cable pushdowns. And like, yeah, it's okay, but like, it's not the most effective, especially if you're like just aiming to get overall arm growth. Doing push downs, like in any type of exercise for triceps where you're pushing down, that type of motion is going to train like the kind of outer edge of the tricep, which is one of the smaller heads. And what we actually want to do is we want to train the outside head of the tricep, which is going to be the bigger head out of the 3, which is going to be more responsible for growth as well too. So how do you do that? Basically, you want to focus on any type of overhead tricep exercise, and that's going to primarily target the outside tricep head, which is going to be way more beneficial for your overall growth. So it's things like overhead extensions with a cable, any type of overhead exercise like a skull crusher with an easy bar, skull crusher with a barbell, skull crusher with 1 dumbbell, skull crusher with both dumbbells. Any of those movements are going to be really great for that. Now, when it comes to like exercises for biceps, you can look at it in 2 different ways. You can focus on bicep exercises that are primarily focused on like the peak of your bicep, or you can focus on exercises that target like the overall bicep as well as like some forearm growth as well too. Because if we're talking about big arms, we're not just talking about biceps and triceps, we're talking about our forearms as well too. So if you're focused on the peak and you really want that like kind of mountain look on your bicep, then I would say to focus on any type of like bicep curl where your palm is typically facing up. You can do things like concentration curls where you're seated and you have your elbow like in your knee. You can do things like preacher curls. Those are really good as well too. You can do machine curls. Preacher curls, you can do single arm, you can do double arm. A cool trick is that if you don't have a spotter, you can do single arm preacher curls, or this works with like concentration curls as well too. But how it works is you would do your bicep curl, and then once you get really close to failure to the point where you can't go, what you would do is you would take your offhand, since you're training 1 arm at a time, and you would use your offhand to assist on the way up for those last couple reps. And this is going to be a cool trick that's going to help you get way more like time under tension and get you way closer to failure for that exercise. I would say some other good exercises as well too are like chin-ups. Chin-ups train your back as well too, but they're really hard on the bicep. They're really hard on your biceps. Things like neutral grip pull-ups are really good as well too, like close grip, neutral grip pull-ups like this are really good. Clown curls are really good as well too. If you guys haven't seen a clown curl before, you can look it up. Basically, you set a bench up at a slight incline, and what it does is kind of makes it so that the starting point of the curl, your bicep is already pre-stretched. So you're getting a lot of stretching on this exercise. There's a variation of this where you're kind of standing up and you're using a cable machine. It's called a Bayesian curl. You guys can look that up as well too. It's the same idea. I would say they're equally as effective, and it just kind of depends on what you prefer. Me, I don't like fighting the cables. Like, I prefer the bench, but it's all up to you. Guys, look them up, give it each one a shot, see how they feel. Next thing I want to talk about is progressive overload. A lot of guys go into the gym and they just spam bicep curls or spam tricep pushdowns, and like that's going to give you a pump and it might look good for photos. But if you actually want to grow and you actually want to get bigger muscles as natural lifters, and you need to implement progressive overload, and you can do that 5 different ways. Number 1, you can increase the reps. Number 2, you can increase the sets. Number 3, you can increase the weights. Number 4, you can decrease the rest period between sets. Or number 5, you can improve your form and improve technique. Apply any of those to your workout routines and you'll start seeing actual growth. Next thing is forearms. I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video that forearms are part of your arms as well too, and they definitely are. And a lot of guys skip forearms when in reality forearms are one of like, having really big forearms really contributes to the look of having big arms, and a lot of people skip them. Now, there's a bunch of different forearm exercises out there, and some of them are uncomfortable, some of them are really nice. It all kind of depends on your preference and what feels better for your body. Any type of like wrist curl would be great. Wrist curl going this way. You can do a reverse wrist curl where you curl it if it's hard to explain on video. You can wrist curl that way. You can wrist curl this way. You can do side wrist curls where you're curling like that and like that as well too, left and right. Those different variations are all great. You can do those with dumbbells. You can do that with cables. You can even do like double hand where you're doing like with a barbell, easy bar, all types of variations. Some of my favorite forearm exercises are to grab a cable, single hand, and you just grab it and you curl like that. Targets this part of the forearm, really great. And then if you want to target the other side too, you can switch it up. And the cable's starting high for this. But if you want to target this side of the forearm, you would bring it down, and now you're curling like that. So those are really great. Another variation is you can take like a straight bar and attach it to your cable machine, attach it high, and then you grab both sides of the straight bar and you can curl both at the same time. Like even just doing this, like just straight body weight, like I'm already feeling like a pump in my forearms. So really start training your forearms, and you'll start to see, like you'll start to notice if you start focusing on forearms and you start to see guys out there with skinny forearms with big arms, like it doesn't look as great. Where compared to like you could see a guy with like medium sized triceps and biceps. But if he's got really big forearms, like it looks amazing. Like even look at arm wrestlers, like their arms are fucking huge, and it's because they have these giant forearms from all this arm wrestling, and it looks amazing. Like forearms are really going to improve your physique as a natural lifter, so I recommend you train them pretty often. You can get away with training forearms honestly like every day. They're such a small muscle group and they heal really fast, and it's easy to train them. I would stick in I would say like reps of like 10 to 20 are pretty good. Honestly, I would even say like 15 to 20. You want to be in a higher rep range for forearms. That way you can actually like feel like the mind muscle connection. Anything lower than like 15 is a bit too heavy, and it's going to be more strain on your wrist, I feel like, compared to like actually training the forearms. Sorry, that's a bit of a tangent, but I'm giving you guys good stuff here, good sauce. The next thing I want to talk about is like for those of you who are trying to achieve like that veiny aesthetic look in your biceps. When it comes to getting like veins in your arms, it all comes down to like your vascularity. And to achieve vascularity, it's like basically it's kind of the opposite of what this channel is going for. Because we want to train people I teach guys how to get big, I teach people how to put on muscle. But if you want to see veins, you actually have to be in a caloric deficit, because you have to be pretty lean, like pretty shredded in order to actually see veins. Your veins will basically pop out once you're so lean to the point that you don't have a lot of like fat on your body, and they pop out, and then you can kind of increase that like look by having bigger biceps, bigger triceps, because they'll push the vein out even further. So basically you got to get really shredded and you got to get really big muscles as well too, which at the end of the day I guess is also what I teach, but I don't teach people how to cut or anything like that. This channel is all focused on growing muscle. Some other ways you can improve like your vascularity is by like reducing as much sodium as you can in your diet. That will help. Salt is gonna like aid in water retention, so it kind of makes you look kind of fluffier, not as lean. So if you can reduce like your salt intake, that will help as well too for your vascularity. Do things like eat whole foods, eat super healthy, and that will help as well too. 30 guys, I think that's pretty much it. Like, focus on your forearms, focus on your triceps mainly over biceps. So, you know, do your tricep exercises first. Make sure you're implementing progressive overload. I forgot to mention reps and sets as well too. Like if you're doing biceps and triceps, try to stay in a higher rep range. Try to stay like 10 to 15, maybe even 10 to 20 sometimes. Anything below 10 for biceps and triceps is like it works, but I feel like it's not. I feel like you get more bang for your buck out of a higher rep range because it's a little bit more time under tension and you get to focus on the exercise a little bit more. Too heavy and it's just like, I don't know. But guys, that's it. If you got any questions, DM me the word natty on Instagram. I'll answer any question you have. I'll drop the link for my IG in the description of this video. I also offer an exclusive private school community where I teach skinny, natty guys under 30 how to build drug-free muscle with only 2 workouts per week. We've got a bunch of guys in there who are just like you, just like me. We're all skinny. I'm not skinny, but I mean, a lot of these guys are skinny and they're on their way to building their actual dream physique the natural way. So no drugs, no steroids, nothing like that. If you guys want to check that out for free, I'll drop the link for that in the description below as well too. But guys, that's it. Peace out. See you guys on the next video.